used to dwell in a house among his people, but now he has a home that's better than the first. It doesn't look like a building with a steeple. Now he's living in the people of the church. Brick after brick, God is building his temple. Brick after brick, he's making it strong. With Christ the sure foundation and his people as the stones, he is building a place he can live. Brick after brick.
Let us condition our hearts to hear the Word of God this morning. I want to call your attention to a familiar story found in the book of Daniel, the 3rd chapter. I'm reading from the New Living Translation, beginning at verse 14. Nebuchadnezzar said to them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you refuse to serve my gods or to worship the gold statue I have set up? I will give you one more chance to bow down and worship the statue I have made when you hear the sound of the musical instruments. But if you refuse, you will be thrown immediately into the blazing furnace. And then what God will be able to rescue you from my power?" Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God whom we serve is able to save us. He will rescue us from their power and majesty. But even if he doesn't, we want to make it clear to you, Your Majesty, that we will never serve your gods or worship the gold statue you have set up. But even if he doesn't, we want to make it clear to you, Your Majesty, that we will never serve your gods or worship the gold statue you have set up, even if he doesn't." I want to speak this morning from the subject, faith beyond the if. Faith beyond the if. The story of 3 Hebrew boys who were given Babylonian names of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Not to be confused with Abednego, it's Abednego. They're not Hebrew names, they're Babylonian names that were thrust upon them. The story is taking place in the land of Babylon during captivity. They were robbed of their free will. They could not come and go as they would. And they could not worship and serve their God as they wanted to. They were forced in this occasion to bow down to an image set up by the king. And the instruction was given that whenever they heard music, everyone was to immediately start to worship the statue. And this went on until it was discovered that 3 Hebrew boys did not bow down. 3 Hebrew boys said no. As a result, an example to everyone, they then were thrown into a blazing furnace. Miraculously, angel of the Lord appeared in the fire, taking the heat out of the flames and sparing them. Now in the story, as we read, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God whom we serve is able." Here they make the statement, God is able to save us, and He will rescue us from your power, your majesty. Statements of faith. And then this perplexing statement. But even if. And it would seem at the first read somewhat inconsistent. You acknowledge that God is able. You proclaim that He will. But then you throw in, but if. And we try to make sense of that. Is this a moment of doubt? Is this a pocket of doubt? Is there a shadow of doubt in this statement that they would throw in if? Because if seems to imply, by its nature, doubt. It reminds us of the story of the time when a father brought a son to Jesus for deliverance. The other disciples were not able to cast out the afflicting demon. How long has this been happening? Jesus asked the boy's father. He replied, since he was a little boy. The Spirit often throws him into the fire or into the water trying to kill him. Have mercy on us and help us if you can. Jesus responds to that. What do you mean, if I can? Jesus asks. Anything is possible if a person believes. So it would seem that to utter the word if would imply maybe it won't happen. So is this what happened with the Hebrew boys? Did they struggle with some unbelief? Was there a flaw in their faith? Now I want to look at this passage this morning and unfold it and show that perhaps there were reasons on why they would make this kind of a statement. Now, in the long history of the Israelites that went on for thousands of years, there were three major events that shaped and affected the people as a whole. One of them is the Exodus. We all know the story. Israelites were forced into harsh labor. They cried out for deliverance, in bondage for hundreds of years. And then God hears them, and through a series of plagues and miracles, delivers them from that bondage. The Exodus is memorialized amongst the Hebrews with the Passover. Passover is designed to remember the day that God brought them out of slavery. And it is ingrained in the fabric of their faith. To this day, the Hebrews still celebrate one of the most sacred holidays for the Passover meal. The second occasion was the Babylonian captivity in 586 BC. That's what we're reading here. Here, the Babylonians, the power of the age, takes over all of the known world, including the land of Judah. Not only do they take over them and lead many of them away into captivity, but they totally destroy Jerusalem. They destroy the sacred temple. They rob them of all of the vessels, gold vessels within the temple, including the Ark of the Covenant. It was one of the most darkest seasons in Israel's history. A third occasion happened in the year 70 AD. And that's when Rome again seized Israel, the entire land, and literally wiped Israel off the face of the map. And Rome at that time decided there will be no more nation of Israel, and they renamed the land Palestine. That would stay for nearly 2,000 years until 1948, within our generation, where Israel is rebirthed as a nation. But the memory of Rome destroying Israel, destroying Jerusalem, and destroying again their temple was an event never forgotten. In the Jewish weddings, when they would smash the glass and say Mazel Tov, this breaking of the glass is a statement of remembering the loss of Jerusalem, the destruction of the temple. What they're saying is that even in the most happiest of circumstances, let's not ever forget the loss of our sacred temple. Now, that's not to say that Israel has certainly had many ups and downs and traumatic events, including the horrors, the Holocaust. But these three events shaped Israel's faith. In other words, let's say that who they were was forever changed by these events. When one of these events happened, they would never be the same again. It altered the way they viewed the world. It changed the way they communicated their faith. It changed the way they expressed their faith. It changed their lifestyles and behaviors. And we all go through those kinds of things. We go through them individually, within families, and within the nation. There are certain events that happen in our lives that forever changes who we are. It could be a divorce. It could be a death. But when something happens, traumatic, we're never the same. We never go back to the familiar. Think about in our own nation, under 9/11, how we're no longer the same people since that time. Policies have changed since that time. We think differently about people. We think differently about safety. We think differently about the world we live in ever since this occasion. And it makes us wonder, will this time, will 2020 be one of those life-changing years for us? Will we forever, in years to come, look back on a time when everything was different? When we look back on scenes like this and wonder, will they ever happening yet? Will we ever see the things that we were so used to, things that were part of us, and now, even within the few months that we're here, they start to look foreign. They start to look strange. They start to look distant. And will that change? Is this who we are? Is this where we are for how long? And I don't have the answers for that. But to say that the Israelites here, this was one of those occasions. And it's in this life-altering season of Israel, and within this trauma, that they utter the words, but even if. Now, without a doubt, it was a horrific time, a very depressing time, a very unhappy time. And Psalm 137 captures it like no other chapter in the Bible. By the rivers of Babylon we sat and wept when we remembered Zion. There on the poplars we hung our harps. For there our captors asked us for songs. Our tormentors demanded songs of joy. They said, sing us one of the songs of Zion. How can we sing the songs of the Lord while in a foreign land? Babylonian captivity was one of the most depressing times in the history of Israel. Now, there were certain things that occurred and went on that contributed to the occasion where the Hebrew boys would cry out, what if? During the time, we had a few prophets. One we know very well, the prophet Jeremiah. He wasn't the only prophet. There was another prophet by the name of Hananiah. Now, these two prophets had two different messages, diametrically opposing messages. Jeremiah, on an occasion, took a yoke. Yoke is a farming instrument that is used to bind two animals together, to lock them in so that they don't have their freedom. And he puts a yoke around his neck, and he sends this word from the Lord. So you must submit to Babylon's king and serve him. Put your neck under Babylon's yoke. I will punish any nation that refuses to be his slave, says the Lord. I will send war, famine, and disease upon that nation until Babylon has conquered. So Jeremiah sends a message that, yes, you need to be under Babylon's rule. That's where God is putting you at this time. Well, Hananiah wouldn't have it, and he had an entirely different message. Then the prophet Hananiah took hold of the yoke that was on the prophet Jeremiah's neck and broke it. He said before all the people, this is what the Lord says. Just as this yoke has been broken, I will break the yoke of Babylonian's king Nebuchadnezzar from the neck of all the nations within 2 years. Then the prophet Jeremiah walked away. So here we have two different messages. Jeremiah says, no, you're going to live like this for a long time. Hananiah says, no, it looks like you're going to be in this situation, but it's only going to last for 2 years. This is all going to go away. This is not a problem. Don't assume that this is for the long haul. Don't get carried away and listen to the words of Jeremiah. Because before you know it, it's all going to go away and we're going to be back to normal. What happens when you have different messages that you're trying to listen to? What happens when one leader is saying one thing and another leader is saying something totally different? What happens when one group is saying one thing and another group is saying something else? What happens when one church takes one position and another church takes another position? Then you are left to try to figure it out on your own. The time of the judges were like this. In those days, there was no king in Israel, no leadership, an absence of leadership. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. So when you don't have clear leadership, when you don't have a unified message, you have confusion. And now you're left to say, well, I'll figure it out for myself. I'll do what I think should be done. I won't listen to anybody. I'll make up my own mind. Where there's no leadership, where there's an absence of guidance, everyone does what's right in his own eyes. This was the environment in the time of Babylon. And so they would cry out, but even if it doesn't happen. Now, another reason why this statement came forth is up to now, they hadn't seen any real kind of deliverance. They haven't seen any real kinds of miracles or actions from God that was going to change anything here. Where was their Moses to stand against Nebuchadnezzar the way he did against Pharaoh? Where was that kind of movement of God? Where was a King David who would come and slay the enemies that were oppressing the land? Where was the Samson that would come and tear down the structures of the enemy? Where was the prophet Elijah that would call down fire to take out the enemies? They hadn't seen any of this. They heard about it. They were familiar with the stories of these men. They were familiar with the stories of deliverance. But for these three Hebrew boys, they hadn't witnessed it. For them, all they knew was defeat. All they witnessed was conquering, being conquered by another nation. They didn't see miracles. They saw people praying and nothing happening. It reminds us of the time of Gideon, when an angel comes and calls him into the ministry. Sir, Gideon replied, if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? And where are all the miracles our ancestors told us about? But now the Lord has abandoned us and handed us over to the Midianites. How many times have our prayers looked like this? Lord, where's your miracles? Lord, where's your answer? I've been praying, but nothing's changing. I've been hoping, but I don't see anything changing. And so this was the environment of the Hebrew boys that would cause them to say, but even if. It reminds us of the time of Job. Job, when he is afflicted, we know his story, his wife comes to him His wife said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." But Job replied, "You talk like a foolish woman. Should we accept only good things from the hand of God and never anything bad?" And so, in all this, Job said nothing wrong. Job took the position, what if? Job is saying, I'm not here because I get everything I want. I don't serve God because He just makes everything good for me. I'm willing to serve God even if I don't get my answers, even if I don't get my way. I'm not serving God because He's a genie in the lamp. I'm not serving God because He gives me everything that I want. I serve Him because I love Him. I serve Him because He died and sacrificed for me. That's why I worship God. So I'm not looking to all the good things that He gives me from time to time. So even if those things don't come, I'm still going to love Him. Paul talked about this, says, and if our hope in Christ is only for this life, we are more to be pitied than anyone in the world. My hope goes beyond what happens to me in this life, because there's another chapter coming in my life. So I may not get everything that I want. I'm not serving Him because He answers every prayer. So if I find myself praying and nothing happens, maybe you prayed and cried out, Lord, send your healing, but they died anyway. Lord, fix my marriage, but it still fell apart. Lord, change my situation, but you still lost your job. It's in those times where you have the faith that moves beyond the if, that says, even if I don't get these things, I still know that my Redeemer liveth. Though He slay me, yet I will trust Him. Paul says, I am convinced that nothing can separate us from God's love. Neither death nor life, nor angels nor demons. Neither our fears for today, nor our worries about tomorrow. Not even powers of hell can separate us from God's love. No power in the sky above or in the earth below. Indeed, nothing in all of creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is revealed in Christ Jesus our Lord. What Paul is saying is that it doesn't matter what goes on in my life. I don't know when things are going to change in our society. I don't know if things are going to get better or they're going to get worse. I don't know if things are going to go back to what we were called normal. But that doesn't matter, because whatever situation I find myself in, I will always bless the Lord at all times, and His praise will continually be in my mouth. I serve Him because He's alive. I serve Him because He loves me. I worship Him because He is. I don't worship Him because I have money. I don't worship Him because I have a job. I don't even worship Him because I have my health. I worship Him because He's worthy of all my praise. He's worthy of all my thanks. He's worthy, and my faith goes even if He doesn't answer, even if He doesn't move, even if my situation doesn't change. God is God.
Brick after brick, God is building His temple. Brick after brick, He is making it strong. With Christ the sure foundation and His